It's time to get real this Christmas and enjoy the things that matter. I'm Michaela Clark of declutteringU.com and I'm here to help you simplify your Christmas. Every episode, I'll be here to give you one quick, easy Christmas hack designed to help you simplify your holiday season and find the fun again. Let's go. Hi, on today's hack, we're joined by Alexx Stewart from lowtoxlife.com, and she has some great tips for just being a little bit more responsible with our gift giving this year, and she has a great gift guide as well on her website, so make sure to visit that at lowtoxlife.com. Now, if you want help planning your gifts, make sure to check out our Hack the Holidays planner, which has all sorts of gift planning wish lists as well as budgets and food planning and lots of other stuff, and that's for free at declutteringu.com/Christmas hacks. I hope you enjoy this episode with Alexx Stewart. So thanks for joining us today, Alexx. Now, first, I'd love to know, what's your favourite Christmas memory?
Michaela, I have lots of Christmas memories, as we all do, those of us who celebrate Christmas, that is. But my favourite, I think, was when it's one of my earliest memories as a child, and it's when all 5 cousins, because we all lived in 3 different countries, were able to be together in Mauritius, which is where my mum's from, for Christmas. So there was just something so special about all of us being there as an international family who were sprawled across the world. All of our parents made it feel super special. Everything was kind of heightened, and it was like Christmas on steroids. And I just loved, because here we're quite a nucleus, small family. I just love that sense of being a part of something really huge that Christmas.
Yeah, that's such a great memory. I know mine was also when we had all our family together, and included my brother-in-law from England. So it's always special when you just have that rare opportunity to have everyone together. I know it's such a special time.
Mm.
So I know at Christmas time, a lot of, unfortunately, focus goes on gift giving.
Yes.
Which isn't always the best thing to focus on. But what I thought would be great to talk to you about, perhaps how we can, in this area of giving, to help reduce, the toxins and things in our life. What tips do you have for us as far as gift giving and keeping it a little bit more cleaner than normal?
Well, there are a few areas we could talk about. So I'll just focus on maybe 3. Something that we very often give at Christmas is a scented candle. It's such a good default for people. It's easy. It looks luxurious. It doesn't cost the earth. But unfortunately, it kind of does cost the earth in a roundabout way. And this, for anyone out there who's never thought about their scented candle and what's in it, I'm not telling you this to freak you out. I'm just telling you this as one smart person who was dumbed down by marketing for a long time woke up, to other smart people to also wake up, because we just need to start getting clever about what we're choosing. And when it comes to candles, you got a couple of things going on there. The most important thing that you want to start reducing over all areas of your life is the synthetic fragrance. So, like, you know how those scented candles are called, like burnt fig and toffee and, I don't know, like pina colada, or, there's crazy candle names these days.
They are very creative with the candle names these days.
So creative. And there is nothing that is in a pina colada that is in that candle. Same with the fig and toffee. There is no fig, there is no toffee. It's a synthetic fragrance. And unfortunately, in most cases, almost all that I've explored, you'll find a chemical that's like a plasticizer. So it binds into the fragrance creating process. That's why you don't see the word phthalate on an ingredient list, but it's inside the actual fragrance itself in the making of it. And it's what makes fragrances stick to our skin or last. So, you pop an air freshener on in your house and then all of a sudden you can kind of smell it on your hair in a different area, like location completely, and you've showered and everything, but you can actually still smell it. And that's what phthalates help perfumes do. So when it comes to a scented candle, we're literally polluting our indoor air with these phthalates. And what's crappy about phthalates is that they are hormone disruptors. They're part of a type of chemical called a hormone disruptor. And a number of phthalates, because there are actually several of them, actually block testosterone production. or reduce testosterone production. This is seriously bad news for our boys. And it's certainly like, when you actually get conscious about what's really in stuff, these pretty beautiful things that, are all about like you spending our hard-earned money to gift to a friend, all of a sudden it doesn't look pretty and beautiful anymore, and you actually see stuff for what it is. And I honestly see scented candles now and just kind of cringe and like screw my face up a little bit, because this stuff is harming us. It's harming especially our boys when it comes to phthalates. And that can be preconception, in utero, little boys, men. I mean, look at the infertility issues. So like, that's a pretty massive downer to sweep us into right at the start of this chat. I know, but we've really got to stop buying all these fake smells.
Well, it's fascinating because I didn't realise all that was in something as simple as a scented candle. So
totally.
Yeah.
There's no regulation at all, unfortunately. So it's really up to consumers at this point in time, while there's no regulation, to kind of wise up about a few of these things. And my favorite thing to help people stop giving and stop asking for, and actually actively ask for things that are a bit more eco, so that you don't end up with a whole bunch of scented candles, because it's such a notanothercentedcandle.com kind of present, isn't it? So it's also highly unoriginal now. So there's that we're dealing with too. It doesn't really feel like you've seen and heard that person and what they're about. It seems like, everyone loves a scented candle, let's give that. So, twofold on the negative front for giving those at Christmas. So we're not going to do that anymore.
Okay, that's off the list.
That's off the list.
What else should be off our list?
Things that are very overpackaged. Like, just start to become aware of how much plastic goes into packaging something. And I mean, even if you do buy something that has heaps of plastic packaging around it because you know that they actually really want and need that thing to some degree, then how about you write an email to the company and say, I absolutely loved, so I call it the bollocks sandwich. I got this from an old boss, where you put something negative great at the start, the negative bits in the middle, and you end on a high. And so an email that I would write is like, hey, I really loved gifting the thing to my son. I noticed that it was very heavily packaged though, and that's not something I feel really comfortable with, and I would love for you as a brand to take a stand on reducing your plastics. Thanks again for producing such beautiful toys, and I look forward to seeing less plastic surrounding them in the future. You know what I mean? Like, people are just doing stuff that's cheap, that's good for shareholders. They're not thinking about the consumer voice because we're not using our consumer voice. So when we start to say, you know what, that's got too much packaging. I bought it because my son really wants it, but I'm just letting you know that I'm not cool with that. And then, imagine if they start getting like thousands of those emails, they might think, you know what, this is an issue that our customers feel is important to them. Let's address it. Let's change the packaging. Nothing changes on telepathy. You unfortunately these days kind of need to bark a bit louder to make your voice heard.
It's so true. And, not only from the environment perspective, but, all those hours wasted on Christmas morning unwrapping little things and all this extra rubbish that we've got to find space for. So there's the practical side of it as well as the health side of it. So it's so true. And I think, I don't know, I think a lot of them use a lot more packaging so it looks bigger and better value for money.
Of course.
And it's really, when it comes down to it, you open this massive box and undo everything, and there's this little toy that falls apart within 2 seconds, and there's no quality there at all.
That's right. So, and then that leads me into the next one, which is buy something of quality. A lot of parents that I work with talk about how they're concerned about all the plastic toys. I'm like, well, that you're kind of going to end up with a social recluse of a child if you don't have a certain component of the toys being toys that they get to talk about with their friends, that all their other friends are, that I'm really conscious of social development as much as environmental awareness. As a parent, I just don't want my child to be the one who doesn't get to have anything because it's made of plastic. So what we do is we choose half the quantity, double the quality. So instead of buying a whole bunch of little cheap things will buy a really amazing Lego set. And what I love about Lego as a company is that they have made a long game plan to be petroleum free within the next couple of decades and are spending $150 million on a task force to ensure that they get there. It's not that all plastic is evil. And in fact, if you can find companies that are thinking, long term about environmental impacts of their toys. And what I love about Lego as well is that it just lasts. He's going to be handing that down to his kids one day, and that's amazing. So just think about the quality. Lessen the quantity and double your quality, and actually start teaching your kids from day dot that it is not about how much you get, it's about how much you value what you have, and really having things that are very special to you that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of, instead of, I played with that on Christmas morning and then it broke and then I moved on to the next one and then that broke. And then, by Boxing Day, they've actually only got 2 presents left anyway. So we might as well have made those 2 presents awesome. And invested all of our budget into less stuff.
Oh, that is such a good tip. And I must say that I hope that Lego also invest in how to stop parents stepping on Lego that's been left and the pain that comes after it. Because
we need some protective footwear that's Lego
proof, right? Yeah. or magnets that stick all the Lego together when it's been finished playing with automatically. So, yeah. I mean, I've got 3 boys, so you can imagine the amount of Lego in our house.
Yeah.
And they truly love it, and they've had the same Lego pieces for years and years and years. And it's good to hear of, buying things, but also looking at the social responsibility of the companies behind what you're buying as well. I think that's such a great tip.
Totally. You could even be buying sneakers for your partner because that's all they want, really good pair of gym shoes. But you can still then go onto the internet and have a look at the social responsibility policies. And, for me recently, I found that Adidas, of all the big name brands, was the most socially responsible, environmentally aware. So I was like, well, I'm not going to buy the other ones. I'm going to buy those ones now. And, there's always an awesome choice you can make. So do a little bit of research, and then you get to add to the story of giving the gift. You get to say, and I chose these because, not only because they look great, but what I found out was X, and that's a lovely thing to be able to share with people. And then you grow consciousness by sharing great stories instead of lecturing people and telling people they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's so true. Another thing I found myself doing recently is, I was in a thrift store and I found some really great quality presents for the kids. And I instantly said, it doesn't have the packaging, then they're going to know I bought it secondhand, or it's not in the original box, or the box was a bit broken. Yeah. But I was like, this is a perfectly great toy or game, and it was weird that I had second thoughts about actually buying it, because I thought, they're going to know that it's not straight off a store shelf. But it was helping the charity that I was at. It was a really good quality item, and so I did get them because I did want to make sure that the kids were getting good gifts, but also, we've got a budget and there was nothing wrong with these things. So it was just making that conscious decision to not worry about, the packaging or the marketing that gets thrown at me, to think that the kids might not like it as much. So it's really interesting that you raised that point about the whole the giving side of it and the packaging, and it's, what, it really comes down to the thoughts behind it. Like you said with the candles, it's such a default gift now. It really comes back to making sure, your gifts are meaningful and you put thought into it. That's really what it comes down to as well.
Totally agree. And then my last one would be, consider making a big batch of something DIY. I have a couple of recipes on the website. In fact, if you're a subscriber on my website, you get this awesome DIY gift giving book, ebook, and on there you've got stuff like a gorgeous coffee body scrub, and this thing tastes like a minute to mix together a huge bowl, and then you just pop it in jars, pop a little ribbon on, and then say, I made this for you. I mean, how much more special is it to say, I made this for you? And it's beautiful quality and delicious to use. And then it gets someone thinking, actually, I don't need to buy that in a plastic tube anymore. I can make my own. You know, you send all these little messages out and we don't even realize. And this to me is a much more beautiful way to create change than, like I said before, you know, lecturing people and telling people we're doing something wrong.
Oh, I love that as well. And I'm actually got a whole list of DIY things. I'm actually making a lot of Christmas gifts this year, which I don't normally. Yeah. So I'm, you know, investing in doing that and putting the time aside and planning it out because, you know, I have, you know, stepkids and other kids and extended family, and I actually want to put some effort into it, but not financial effort this year, and make them something. Because you know what? Most people have a lot of stuff anyway that they don't need, and having a thoughtful gift that, okay, I know they'll like this, I'm going to make this for them, I think is so much more meaningful. So yeah, that's great.
Exactly right.
And we'll make sure that we link to your website also in the show notes and point people to subscribe as well so they can get that gift guide.
Yeah, it's so handy. You know, you can make your own I can't believe it's not Milo chocolate milk powder as well. So there's a few cool ones on there.
Oh, that is cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, Alexx, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
You're welcome. You too.
It's time to embrace a perfectly imperfect Christmas. Head over to declutteryou.com/Christmas hacks to grab a free copy of the Hack the Holidays Handbook to help you get organised, simplify, and actually enjoy your Christmas this year.